Hello, folks. Welcome back to Your HR Stories, a conversation series which I want to bring it to you all as a part of learning and sharing with all our HR professionals. What I found is we have been listening to management gurus, a lot of motivational speakers, and we're used to listening to them and learn from them. I thought, why not to pick real-time stories from budding HR professionals and listen to them and bring their inspirational stories to you all. Today we have Sachin Chandrakant Pawar with us, and I will have a conversation with him and try to unfold his past, his HR journey so far, and his success saga. Sachin Chandrakant Pawar did his MPM in 2011, and since then he's been working with various sets of organizations. He started his journey with Tata BlueScope Steel, and then he worked with ACG Metalcraft. Further, he worked with Accurate Industrial Controls, and today he's currently working with Ross Lifesciences, which is a healthcare organization. So, if you see, most of the organizations which he has worked were greenfield projects. So, right from setting up the operations, HR operations, setting up the plans, getting in the in a lot of legal compliances in place, and setting up the overall processes. As a part of conversation with Sachin, my first question to Sachin is to share his personal and professional journey so far. Sachin, over to you.
Thank you, sir, for giving me an opportunity to express myself and my journey. I was born in a remote place of Satara district in Maharashtra state. Being son of the soil with limited basic and educational facilities, we had to spend at least 4 hours in a day for extra earning. That led to complete low energy level. Therefore, other than daily studies, there was a very less time and energy left for extra activities and reading other literature. But I was dreaming big for becoming a successful person. After completing graduation, I was trying my luck for finding employment with different companies or industries. It was very tough to face the interviews with the different corporate houses or companies. The communication skill improvement was the first realization. If I really want to get entry and stay in a corporate house, acting on this realization, I took admission for Master of Personal Management and won midnight oil during that course and earned my master degree successfully from Pune University. No stone was left unturned to overcome my professional shortcomings. That hard work and literature study give me a confidence to face the interviews and handling the different situations. After my post graduation, I tried my luck in finding a job different industry and corporate houses. I however realized badly that my common skill needs to be improved. While I was trying my luck for finding job, I could crack first interview with Tata BlueScope Steel and I got placed as a time office person. After that, I worked for various companies with increasing responsibilities. Currently, I am working as a manager, HR admin, and in charge Employee Health Safety and Maintenance Department at Ross Life Science Private Limited, which is internationally well-known contract research organization having around 90 intelligent research scientists.
It's quite difficult for a rural boy coming from a very remote area where there's lack of education. It's not organized in a way. The urban sector is organized. Coming from a rural setup to a urbanized setup, it itself is a huge change, and it's not easy for any individual to survive. Though what I learned from you is you kept on struggling, you kept on learning, which was the very important element here. What you shared, you kept on upgrading your skills, you kept on upgrading your education as well, and kept knocking the doors of corporate sectors. Another thing which I learned here is, from a time office personnel, going from that stage, which is entry level for any HR person who is working in factory, to a manager position or as a heading HR position is a big transformation in a short span of around 9 years, you can say. In fact, which the youth should learn from you is you never said no to any kind of work which was given to you, which kept on skilling and reskilling yourself and kept on adding value and the knowledge what is required in today's world. Never say no to any kind of work, and no work is of less dignity or no work is of a higher position or higher dignity. It's more often how we perceive the work coming to us and how we deliver at the end of the day. While we deliver any kind of work in the organization, may it be a time office personnel, may it be OD consultant, may it be a managerial position, it has to add value to the organization. It's getting interesting now. Moving forward, Sachin, I want to ask you, what were the impediments in your journey? What were the challenges you faced, and how you overcome those challenges? Back to you, Sachin.
From 2012 onwards, I got the opportunity of handling the organization having 1,000 employees on the roll. Also, I got experience in set up 2 greenfield projects at Shirua and Bhosri location in Maharashtra state. At early stage of life and career, successfully handled responsibilities like union negotiation, organization development, local issues, some administrative problems.
Yes, Sachin, I agree. Working in a greenfield project and a steady state organization is a huge difference, where steady state organization always has a lot of structured way of doing the things. They have come long way in terms of setting up the processes and the frameworks in the organization, policies in the organization. Everything is stabilized and they're moving to the next level. However, when it comes to greenfield project, what you talked about is a different ball game altogether, and one has to be prepared for any kind of uncertain situations. This is a pure VUCA situation. What you talked about again, managing the local pressures, the union. What you talked about, managing a union is a different ball game altogether, where the intentions are different, and one has to run the show in terms of business, has to be delivering the results. So it's not easy for a youngster like you when you started in 2012 onwards, managing all such kind of scenarios and learning out of it, as well as delivering what the business required. Moving to the next question, Sachin, as we try to unfold your success story and the journey, one of the milestones where you must have got accolades for your good work in terms of good practices, what you talked about in your organization earlier, and if you could share some moments around that.
Recently, I participated for Best HR Practice and were awarded with the Best HR Practice second rank. The ceremony was chaired by Honorable ex-CM of Maharashtra State, Shri Prithviraj Chauhan. This award was for the first time for our organization also. With respect due to social responsibilities and activities, I was equally involved in this. For example, Rural Agriculture Development Program, under which I found a group of women called as a Mahila Bachat Gat.
Thanks for sharing that moment, Sachin. I was also party to that moment where you got an award. I still remember you walking up the dais, and I was also sharing the dais along with our ex-Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Shri Prithviraj Chauhan, the well-learned Chief Minister for Maharashtra state. And it was a proud moment for me as well, where you shared your story of going into the rural sector and working for the farmers there in terms of educating them to the next level. So good work, Sachin. So we talked about your past, and now we have to move ahead talking about your future goals and how you're going to achieve those goals. Let my audience also listen to you.
Working sincerely with innovative mind and competing with self only. Increasing knowledge on human behavior by reading relevant books. and participation in various HR form, which is give opportunity to listen to others' experience.
Great, Sachin. You talked about three things. What I remember is the first thing you talked about the sincerity, which is very important value. Second thing you talked about is innovation, which is again a key for any successful career. Uh, One has to keep on thinking innovatively, out of box, keep on thinking laterally, and bring innovations in whatever work you are doing. And the third thing, what you talked about, was competing with self, which is very, very important. When you're competing with self, you are less envy about others. It's not competing with others. It's important to understand one has to compete with oneself. One has to break the records of oneself. We can have role models in our career and in our life, but when you start competing with others, that's not the right way of doing the things. One has to compete with oneself. One has to grow internally. One has to grow from within. Moving to the next and last question from my side, Sachin, what would be your success mantra you would like to share with the youngsters who are entering into this profession for them to become more successful in the organization?
Thank you, sir, for asking me a good question. My success mantra is sincerity, dedication, and completing every job without a prejudiced mind. Deal with any challenges or problems with an open mind. The example is apart from routine work, I successfully handle portfolios like in charge of employee health and safety and maintenance department also, facing international audits from a domain of life sciences, which is not very common field for all.
Great, and thanks, Sachin, to be here on this conversation, spending your time and sharing your learnings with us, sharing your success stories, and some things really inspired me as an individual. I hope my audience would also love and have learned a lot of things from this conversation. Thanks for listening to Your HR Story, a conversation series. Please do share your HR stories with me, and I will come up with yet another inspiring story for you all. Till then, signing off, your host, friend, mentor, Sangram.